Hey, deserving listeners, it's time to continue watching Danielle on A Single Life. Let's watch. So, just to catch everyone up where I am at, Danielle went on a trip with some friends, and they set her up on a couple dates. She didn't have a second date with either one. The first guy was kind of a dud to her. The second guy she really liked, and they seemed to have a good conversation, but he said, let's meet up again, and then he never responded to her texts anymore, and so she was ghosted by that. But it seemed to, and it hurt her kind of, but it seemed like it gave her a self-esteem boost and the ability to, continue dating, and the support of her friends certainly helped as well. And so she went back to Ohio, and she met a guy. I can't remember how she met him, maybe online. And they had a first date, and it went well. And now they're on their second date, and they're doing axe throwing, which, by the way, is delightful. It's intense and visceral, but fun. Highly recommend. It's easier than it looks, surprisingly. My wife was very good at it. Right? She's a very coordinated person. Anyway, so Danielle is now at the phase of the date where she wants to tell her date that she is insecure about. So they got into their past marriage. They've both been married before for a long time. And then she said, well, my second marriage was pretty short, and he hurt me. And she started to cry, and she went to another room. And the producers were kind of giving her space. And so she's gearing up to tell him, I'm not sure, maybe just about the way Mohamed treated her or something. And, I don't know. We'll hope that he reacts well. Usually people on the show, at best, are neutral about it. So let's see what happens.
I'm on my second date with Robert. I am really scared to tell him about my divorce from Mohamed because it hurts so bad.
Now, some people would say, you don't have to tell him on your second date if you don't want to. Some people might say it's ill-advised. I wouldn't say that. I would say do what you want. And I think I've said this before, that when you're older and dating, there's a more often realistic way in which people will date, in that they will talk about their past relationships, often because it's pretty relevant. You're often tied to your former spouses because you have kids with them, maybe, and to leave that out seems kind of strange. So they are getting real, and that's fine. It's also fine if you're like, I don't want to get real with people until the 10th date or something, or I'm dating casually, so I don't even really want to get to know people that well. But she wants to tell him, and that's totally fine. Let's see how he reacts.
I've never had to tell it to another man before, the things that he said about me, so it's like hard. But it's part of my past.
No, it's fine.
Yeah, you sense the pain that she's been through with Mohamed, and maybe beyond that, who knows? But, definitely a lot of pain with Mohamed. And I think she feels ashamed, maybe. Not ashamed enough to, take away her voice and intention. But, it's an emotional issue for her, and she's crying a lot. And so, it's healthy. I don't know about where this fits in terms of her personality, but, as a behavior, it's totally fine. Yeah, again, people will often say, like, why are you crying on the second date? Ew, red flag. I think green flag. Someone's willing to be a human being and vulnerable and real and authentic on a second date. I think that's a green flag.
I'm nervous that I don't know how he's going to react, but I need to get it off my chest so he can better understand my insecurities.
Okay. Yeah, I suppose that's true. I think what she's saying is, if this relationship is going to progress past a second date, maybe even if it gets physical, he's going to have to understand these immediate things that are happening for me. I'm guessing what it's like to be, to be physically intimate with someone. Because of what happened with Mohamed, she's going to have some complications there. And it would be a good idea to prepare him and say, I might have to stop things. I might cry. I might ask for reassurance. And here's why. So, I don't know if that's where she's going with it, but if so, that, makes sense.
Sorry.
No problem.
You're the first guy that I'm telling this to. My ex-husband, he had said that no man would ever want to sleep with me because he was accusing me of smelling and stuff like that.
Okay, so she's really going for it. I didn't think she was going to disclose that, but yeah, that's what happened. And good for her for just saying, look, this is what happened, and this is how it really impacted me. I'm terrified of his reaction, though. Let's see what happens.
I have to let my guard down and let someone in.
I understand, because I've had some of the same issues. My ex-wife was kind of the same way. Always been told you weren't good enough, or you're too big, or you're too that, but you try to get past it.
Mm-hmm.
Hallelujah. My goodness. Now, I already kind of liked him. I have a thing for the Cleveland Browns. He had a shirt on. They tried to blur it out, but it was obviously, they were from Ohio, so he's a Cleveland Browns fan. So it's nice to see that. And then, but oh boy, what a response. Have we seen a better response to something like this on this show ever before? Not only is he's like, yeah, I see it. I went through the same thing. My ex-wife was kind of like that. She made me feel like she body shamed me. I've been there before, I understand. Wow, it makes me want to cry thinking about the empathy. Let's watch that again. Let's really bask in this health.
Or you're too big, or you're too that, but you try to get past it.
Mm-hmm.
I have pretty bad self-esteem issues myself. You just always wonder if you are good enough, and it hurts. Like you said, it's a big thing being told that by someone that you're in love with.
Is he a therapist? He is super chill about his insecurities. Everyone's like this. I was just telling my students today about behind every kind of tough exterior is someone like this, but they're so ashamed of it, they can't talk about it. This is strength. This is manliness. This is maturity. This is wisdom. This is how to be strong, how to be masculine and courageous, and to say, yeah, I get insecure sometimes, because everyone gets insecure sometimes. And yeah, I didn't feel good enough in my last marriage, because most people don't feel good enough when they go through divorces. Most everyone has residuals like that. So, wow, such health. He's a keeper, Danielle. Do they work out? I hope for her sake this works out. Let's watch this again. Let's just bask.
Or you're too big, or you're too that, but you try to get past it.
Mm-hmm.
I have pretty bad self-esteem issues myself. You just always wonder if you are good enough, and it hurts. Like you said, it's a big thing being told that by someone that you're in love with, or you were in love with. So I understand.
And what the immature, insecure, unwise, undifferentiated masses on the internet, they would call him all sorts of names: a pussy, a cuck, weak, a woman. And that is why we have a problem in our society with violence, with guns, with murder, with crime, with domestic violence, and with partner violence, sexual assault. He represents the health of manhood. He represents the strength and the courage to be a human being. And just imagine if everyone and the politicians around the world were like him.
You want somebody that loves you, is going to help you, build you up and not build you down, not talk bad about you, but support you, make you a better person.
Yeah.
That's, as partners, that's what you're supposed to do, is make your partner better. So that's what I'm kind of looking for.
Yeah.
And the way he just says it so naturally tells me that he is practiced in this space. Great. And he's even leading the way and helping Danielle you can see that she's calmer now and she's more regulated, and she's also, I agree, I wonder if she's ever had a man like this to talk about this with. So this is good. Hey, deserving listeners, as y'all know, I am constantly recommending that people go to therapy. We all need therapy from time to time. Well, one of the options available that is definitely worth checking out is BetterHelp. If you're looking for a therapist, I would give it a try by going to betterhelp.com/Kirk. Make sure you use the promo code Kirk because you get 10% off your first month, and it really helps us out. As you watch these videos, I know many of you have been motivated to find your own therapist, which is great because you deserve it. And I know also that it can be hard to find a good fit, find the right one for you. Well, one of the options available in terms of your shopping is to go to betterhelp.com/Kirk. I've been told you can start communicating with your therapist in under 24 hours. You can message your counselor at any time. Plus, you can schedule weekly video or phone sessions. I've also been told that it's often less expensive than in-person therapy, and you should know that this service is available to clients worldwide. So go to betterhelp.com/Kirk to get 10% off your first month today.
And it showed me that he is a caring person.
I'm a slower person. I don't really...
I'm slow too. I'm not one to go sleep around with people and stuff like that. I want to build up.
build a relationship and trust and all that. Definitely.
On Reddit today, I saw someone ask a question. I think it was like Ask Reddit, subreddit. They said, is it okay, or is it kind of normal for a man to want emotional connection before he has sex? Because normally that's what women are supposed to. Is it okay if I, as a man, am like that? Is that okay? And in 2021, and presumably, this is a younger person. A lot of younger people use Reddit and the internet more so than older people. Certainly older people do. But I'm just assuming this is someone in their 20s. I mean, to ask such a question, right? That we're still socializing our people in these destructive ways. And, he is like, I like to take it slow. A lot of people like to take it slow, regardless of gender. And some people like to take it fast. It's fine as well. But it's really normal to need or just want to feel emotionally safe and connected to someone before you progress physically with them. Being intimate, being naked, having those experiences is, it can be vulnerable. Not for everyone, but for a lot of people it is. And regardless of gender, a lot of people just want to take it slow. So this guy's a shining beacon of positive masculinity, of real manhood.
Well, that was fun.
Yes.
I want to
You're the first person that always opens the door for me. Thank you.
No problem.
And, he's still participating in some traditional chivalrous masculine traits. I think she wants that. Of course, not all women want that. It can be patronizing and infantilizing to do that for people, to open the door for them as if they can't open themselves. But he intuited that she liked that, and he did it, and she likes it. It's totally fine as long as everyone is consenting, and that's the style of gender play that they like. We also saw him I didn't show this clip, but he was pretty good with the axe throwing, and she was not. And she even said, I kind of like it. It's kind of sexy to have a guy who knows what they're doing and can, throw an axe with authority and competence. It's a manly thing. So that's okay as well. It's all in there. But how do we pick and choose the qualities of manhood that are enhancing to our lives and to others around us? So he seems to have a really good combo.
It felt good to be kissed. I was a little off guard, but it felt good. I do hope that there's more. now.
Now, I don't want to forget that she has attachment issues, I believe. I don't know. I'd have to ask her. That could be triggered even by him or anyone who she's in a relationship with that can resort in similar behaviors as we saw to Mohamed. Now, it's possible that the way she, fits together with someone else won't trigger that as much, but our attachment injuries follow us from relationship to relationship, and so hopefully, regardless of who she's with, she can start to look at that so that she won't sabotage the relationship.
I am feeling pretty good right now. This is the best date that I've ever had. I got 2 kisses tonight, not just 1, but 2. They were PG, but they were still kisses.
We also see a contrast in the way she fits together, at least on camera, with Robert, in that we don't see her regressing the way we would with Mohamed. I don't know what that, maybe if the relationship with Robert proceeds forward more, but I could also see how she, because when she was around Mohamed, not all the time, but when she was around him, if you didn't know better and you didn't have the cues of her age, you would think she was literally like 3 years old or 8 and very clingy and would make herself really small, and she would talk in this regressed way. And we all do this from time to time. There's nothing unusual about it, but the consistency and the prominence of it was notable. With Robert, we don't see any of that. I don't know if it's just like, well, wait later, if the relationship progresses, that will emerge in her. I remember speculating that her relational traumas came from back then. I don't know. Usually we do regress to times when we were experiencing difficulties or just before. So, if you experience a lot of difficulties around the age of 8 or something, when we feel a sense of threat, sometimes we'll regress to 7 because we associate 0 to 7 with safety and harmony and lack of trouble. And so we experience trouble, and it's a habit, because when you're 8 and you're going through trouble, you'll regress to 7 because it feels better. I mean, there's various different reasons why we all regress, but anyway, so I don't know if that's ahead of us or because of the way Mohamed was. I mean, she talked about how things were really great at first. There was cuddling and kissing and sex time, but my impression was that even behind closed doors, he was pretty shut down. I don't know that, of course, but from what we saw on camera, he just seemed aloof, I guess is the word for it. And I wonder if she might have regressed as a way of trying to appeal to him. Like she learned that when she was young to, in the face of intimidation, she makes herself very small. I don't know. But I don't know if we'll find out how her relationship with Robert progresses, but I'd be curious. All right, well, that does it for that episode. Everyone out there, please take care of yourself because you deserve it. You really, really do.